What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's Andrew here, back with another video. Happy New Year everyone. Boomin just dropped his latest album, and I have to say this album is insane. The production is just amazing. So in this video I'm gonna show you how to do beats like Young Metro with his dark style. So without further ado, let's jump into FL and see what's going on. I started by adding this Japanese jazz studio piano from Analog Lab, and I built this melody in the scale of A minor. As you can see, the piano sample is 16 bars. That's because the first 8 bars are the simple pattern of the melody. The next 8 bars where the counter melody comes in. I've done this because later in the process, I know I'm gonna be using the two parts separately. The effects on the piano are an EQ cutting the lows, a compressor because the piano was all over the place, and this Valhalla vintage verb. Next thing I've added are the strings from Expand called bright legato pad. They sound like this. Next thing I've added was this sad dark choir from Omnisphere that sounds like this. For effects, we have an EQ cutting the low end, a Valhalla vintage verb 40% mix, this halftime, and this shaper box with a sidechain preset. Next thing I've added was this brass that comes in here and there. Next thing I've added was this bass. It's my favorite bass line from Omnisphere, the Growler Move bass. For effects, it's an EQ cutting mid and high frequencies, and this decapitator with the beefy preset. Next thing I've added was this percussion loop to make the sample sound more ambient. Last thing I've added was this transition effect, and I panned it left and right. Also adding some reverb and delays. All of the sounds are routed to a different mixer track, which has RC20 on it, and an Ozone 9 with a bit of excitement and imager on the mid-high frequencies. So here's a trick for you guys. Whenever you think your sample sounds kinda dull and lifeless, try to put on a VST that has this excitement and apply some excitement in the mids and the high frequencies. Also try to make it wider with an imager. That makes wonders for me, and sometimes it changes the sample from a shitty sample to a really nice and bright one. Now I'm not gonna be focusing too much on the drums because nowadays everybody knows to make drums. There are tons of drum tutorials out there. I'm just gonna show you how mine sound. The most important thing you need to know about Metro type beats is that he often switches things up. He doesn't let things go too much without switching things up because you get bored as a listener. So he always switches things up, like I did with the melody, like I did with the 808. So as you can see in this beat, I'm changing a lot of stuff. I'm changing melodies, I'm changing drums. Give it a listen and see how things change and how it keeps the listener interested in the beat.
Please, shut the fuck up.
can see there are a lot of changes in this beat. It doesn't get boring, it doesn't get too repetitive, things switch up, I'm introducing some new perks, I'm taking out some instruments, everything is flowing, nothing is too crazy, there's a lot of space on this beat. So as you can see, this is one of the most important things when you're doing a metro type beat, switching things up, making it interesting. A lot of sounds, a lot of perks, there's not everything at once. So for this tutorial, I'm gonna break down 2 samples I've made in the style of young metro. So this was beat number 1. I have one more beat to show you. Okay, so this is the second beat I'm gonna show you. So first, the instrument I've used is this American Grey Rhodes piano from Analog Lab, and I've laid down this melody in the scale of D minor. My CPU is going crazy right now, it's a lot of plugins in there, so I'm sorry for the cracks and shit. I've rendered the melody out and then I've separated the counter melody from the main melody so I can have more control over it in the beat. So here we have only the main melody, and here I've added a counter melody. It sounds a bit different because of the effects I'm gonna show you. And these are the effects I have on the piano. An EQ cutting some lows, this halftime at 40% mix. Another EQ cutting the lows. There was a lot of low end build up after the halftime. This Valhalla vintage. On the main melody, I have only added another EQ cutting some low ends. And on the counter melody, I have this halftime at 2 bars. And this effect rack with the channel strip 1 short delay preset. So I've seen Metro use this FL plugin called Flex, and I just gave it a shot too. I've chose this Alumni Sun preset and play this melody. For effects, we have an EQ cutting some low end and some high end, this shaper box with the sidechain preset and 60% mix, and this Valhalla vintage vert with 73% mix. Next thing I've added was another flex, this Galactic Link preset. It's just something subtle to fill the gaps with some high end. Next thing I've added was this one-shot ethnic string thing I found in a one-shot kit. For effects, we have an EQ cutting some low end and a Valhalla vintage verb. Next thing I've added was this one-shot brass, and it sounds like this. Last thing I've added is this female choir preset from Expand. Sounds like this. So again, every instrument here goes to one mixer track that has RC20 on it with the Vinyl 3 preset, Ozone 9 with some imager and some excitement, this Fab Filter Pro to make it louder, and I've also added this sound shifter and I pitched it up to 2 semitones. So now it's not D minor anymore, but it's E minor. For this part of the video, I'm gonna show you how I made the drums, because the drums are way more bouncier than the last one, and I think it's gonna be helpful for some of you guys. First thing I've added was this 808, and I made sure to make an envelope for this 808 so it can last how much I want it to last. This is how it sounds. I've also added this kick to complement the 808. This clap. Another clap bounce. This hi-hat, and these 2 open heads, this perks and this perk. And I've also added this percussion loop that comes and goes here and there. And once again, like in the first bit I showed you, the most important thing is switching things up. Don't let it be boring, don't let it be too full either, leave some room for the artist, keep it entertaining. So this is how my second beat came out. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed my take on how to make young metro type beats. Hope you learned something from me today. Leave a like if my content helped you, subscribe and leave a comment. I'm gonna leave you to listen to the beat, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Shut the fuck up.